made it here. You're strong and you fear no incompatibilities. You've grown tired of watching muscular man in power armor getting brutally mauled by a squirrel. You want it so that when you shoot your big gun at someone, they stay down. You caught a raider trespassing, and you're wondering how many more slugs are you going to have to pump into him before he dies. Well, boys, look no further than Combat Extended, a little Rimworld combat overhaul mod. If you want a gunfight that feels real, then you need to get Combat Extended. Oh, and it makes melee more brutal. In essence, Combat Extended is actually a very simple mod. Whenever a projectile connects with a target, the damage dealt will depend on the ammo type used and the armor coverage of the target body part. Every projectile in every armor has two penetration stats, sharp and blunt. If a bullet has a higher sharp stat than the armor, the bullet will go through. If it's lower than the sharp stat, but the blunt penetration is higher than the blunt rating of the armor, the projectile will leave a bruise. The short version of this is, look at bullet stats, big number, good. Against fleshy targets like tribals or animals that usually have no armor, Halo points are ideal since they deal the most damage. However, this ammo lacks armor piercing capabilities, making it so that you will have a hard time puncturing power armor with a hollow point 9mm. Armor piercing penetrates armor. Full Metal Jacket works as an in-between of hollow point and armor piercing. In essence, the further two advanced ammo types are just superior versions of the previous three.
Armor piercing incendiary is just armor piercing with extra burn damage. Armor piercing high explosive has Full Metal Jacket stats with explosive damage.
Oh, on Sabbat rounds. Nobody really uses Sabbat rounds. Buckshot. Lacking any significant armor piercing abilities, it however turns tribals into mist. Firing several pellets per shot, it tears apart unarmored and lightly armored targets. A slug is in essence just a big bullet. It has some armor piercing ability, and it does high damage. Beanbags, of course, are an excellent option of non-lethal ammo to put down either tribal visitors, angry prisoners, acting as a form of therapy for people undergoing mental breaks. EMP shells can stun mechanoids, which will come in handy later. Beware, after a certain amount of EMP shells fired at a mechanoid, it'll stop stunning them, and they will kill you. Flamethrowers have two types of ammo, chem fuel jelly and promethium jelly. The first is just a ghetto version of the real deal, but the later, well...
I am the god of hellfire, and I bring you fire.
Frag grenades cause small explosions and cause fragments to fly all around, lacerating unarmored body parts. EMP grenades stun mechs and deliver electric damage, which is very effective against them. With a single EMP grenade, you can stop a Scyther dead in its tracks and finish it off with another weapon. Flashbang will temporarily stun both pawns and mechs, and enemies and friends. Smoke obstructs both you and your enemy's sightlines and makes ranged weapons inaccurate. It also prevents turrets from targeting you. A smoke screen is a very useful tool to cover unit movement. Molotovs set things on fire. They'll drench your target in promethium, which is extremely hard to put out. Fire foam grenades are useful firefighting tools as they can stop promethium fires. Armor. Like projectiles, armor has both a sharp rating and a blunt rating. In cases in which armor rating is lower than the bullet being shot at you, decent armor will still lower the overall amount of damage you receive. Armor has health that is chipped at by damage, rendering the armor less effective. Not all armor is the same, and armor itself has partial coverage. Power armor won't cover your twinkly toes as well as it covers your torso. The brain is an important organ, and usually the head is the first body part that pops out of cover. A simple helmet can go a long way to keeping your pawn alive. Armor vests protect your organs. You'll notice quickly that being shot in the heart makes you bleed out very, very fast. Many questions will go through your mind during the course of a raid. One of the most important ones is, will my bullets connect? Many modifiers go into this. Shooter's health, state of sobriety, whether or not he has a crippling case of food poisoning, his weapon's sight efficiency, the light conditions outside, the weather, and even the wind will affect your chances of hitting your targets. In order to maximize your chance of hitting anyone, you'll want to first make sure that your target is in a nicely lit area. This is doable with flares, lighting, or even night vision. You'll also want to make sure that your pawn has a weapon suitable for his skills, suitable for engagement range, and it's better if he's not being rained upon. A health bionic healthy pawn on Goju's with a high shooting skill and a good weapon will land most of his shots, while the butt parasite-ridden chronic alcoholic raider in the range shooting at a dark bunker won't fare so well. Note that you can use darkness and smoke to your advantage as you move pawns across the firing line and into stabbing range. Unlike in vanilla, standing behind sandbags will ensure it'll be very hard to shoot you in the foot. Every type of obstacle, chunks, barricades, sandbags, and braziers has its own cover height. The higher this stat, the more of the pawn is covered. In this short clip, we have different types of cover. No cover, barricades, sandbags, and braziers, and just plain old peeking behind a wall. In the last case, our target Rosa is only shot at once she peeks out from behind cover. When aiming, she is only partially exposed. Adding an embrasure next to that wall allows you to minimize the chances of your pawn getting clapped. You can use your creativity to design functional bunkers, and with some trial and error, and after a few destroyed colonies, you should have a set of working designs. Suppression is a key component of Combat Extended. In essence, it just means that it's really hard to keep a steady march while you're being shot at and shells fall all around you. A well-placed machine gun or grenade launcher can make it very hard for enemies to ever reach your lines. When in doubt, more bullets are the answer. Utilizing the suppression firing mode allows for pawns to keep firing at an enemy even if the firing line is obstructed. Suppress them, and they'll turn back and go to cover. Suppress them hard enough, they'll hit the ground and not get up. Suppress them even harder, and you can cause unique mental breaks, where the same also applies to your pawns and their little bunkers. Accidents happen. From a stray bullet hitting a puppy to your favorite colonist eating a bowl of buckshot, you need to be prepared. Don't panic, or he's gonna die. So, your patient only has a couple hours to live. First, stabilize him. Have a medic carry medicine in his inventory and right-click on the downed pawn. Stabilize. Don't have a medic nearby? Or he forgot his medicine at home? Bear in mind, stabilizing does not mean your friend is safe yet. Stabilizing only plugs the wounding for some time, dependent on medical skill and available medicine. Knowing how to make functional weapon loadouts is a fundamental skill in surviving the onslaught of raiders, mechs, and insects. Every item or piece of clothing has both a weight and a bulk stat. They affect movement speed and work speed, respectively. A light and nimble loadout allows your pawns to move quickly and reposition themselves to suit the engagement they're in. Carrying a battle rifle, ammunition, several grenades, and a knife ensures you'll be ready for most situations. Carrying a machine gun and 500 rounds of ammunition ensures you can kill wave upon wave of unwatched tribals. Remember to have your medics carry medicine. Pistols. These little guns are the simplest protection you can offer a pawn. Usually held by haulers and workers, they're just the bare minimum so you don't get caught with your pants down when going outside the base for a few resources. SMG. Heavier than a pistol and lighter than a rifle. Due to their compact size, SMGs are versatile for making loadouts. You can assign them to your workers, prison security, and they're useful in close quarters combat due to their quick aim time and short cooldown. LMGs. Kings of Suppression. These guns can mow down horde upon horde of tribals and make pirates hunker down in fear of getting hit by a hailstorm of bullets. They're not worth it for workers since most of the good LMGs are heavier than a truck, but they hit like one too. Sniper rifles. Long-range bringers of death. These types of rifles are primarily used for taking out key targets, such as that doomsday rocket launcher wielding psycho outside your walls, or any dead-eyed raiders. Downside is they're very heavy, not suitable for workers since they're going to be working very slowly as they haul that 12-kilo boomstick. Shotguns. Mainly used for close quarters and used by riot guards and workers. Despite their lack of range, the versatile ammo loadouts generate a lot of options on how to kill or down an enemy, man or mech. Other options in your loadout include launchers, grenades, and flamethrowers, and you should use all of them. A well-planned out mountain base will have embrasures all throughout, so you can effectively close off a room and murder every insect inside. But, through laziness or ineptitude, you chose not to do this. But it's not too late. Insects, especially mega spiders, will cut off legs, arms, and armor will not stop them. Power armor will at best slow them down. And as you know, fires in Combat Extended create black smoke, something that will eventually kill humans that aren't wearing gas masks. Insects, however, revert to a passive state when they breathe in enough smoke. You can turn a room into a barbecue and then calmly pick off the bugs. Fighting them in tight corridors with someone holding a shield and someone behind them mag dumping a machine gun turns insects into soon-to-be camp fuel. Now you're fighting mechs. Scythers and Lancers got some armor, but nothing a 7.62 can't deal with. Centipedes are akin to infantry fighting vehicles, but you're confident in your abilities by this point. So you line up your colonists, aim your Tech 9s, and get f***ing obliterated. Centipedes are slow-moving beasts that can obliterate walls, shred power armor, and ultimately ruin your day. There are several methods to quickly and efficiently send these robots back to hell. The rocket launcher, disposable or otherwise, they are designed for this exact situation. 50 cal. Not ideal, but if you're brave enough and you have disposable colonists, why not? And of course, the ideal method for dealing with centipedes, the Molotov cocktail.
Throwing flashbang.